responding or doing their job. So I think if anything, what it highlights is this is only one area. What you're raising about the Houston location, yeah, a lot of that food, because these were higher energy biscuits essentially, not that were meant to be like shelf stable food, right? That high in fat, high in protein, and I think a lot of the food in Houston was purchased by like U.S. Farms and agriculture, so that food probably would have gone bad far faster than even these high energy biscuits. So this is only one of probably many of the different USAID packages that had already been procured. We've already spent tax dollars on, and it's just sitting there in rot and waste. And it's incompetent. I think it just demonstrates that when we're watching these cabinet, I don't know what to call them anymore, these series of cabinet meetings that are being produced on TV or the tweets, these are people that think that they're governing and they actually just don't know the inner workings of how the government operates. And so they're not responding to, they're not actually doing their work. They're not doing their job. We're not seeing any actual like bureaucratic processes take place as normal. And that is why it's problematic to get these quote unquote disruptors in when, if you can't pass an American citizenship test, probably shouldn't be working in the White House.
Right, well, background check. Let me add to that too. The distribution, at least I was reading, was about the fact that they cut so much U.S. aid that there was no way to actually have the manpower to distribute any of this. So, which is why they had to throw it out, and maybe they didn't even have the budget left to do that, because it was all cuts. And here's the thing: this is what they're doing. We're seeing this in so many levels, where they come in, they don't analyze what's going on the ground and what things need to be, addressed. They just actually cut. They cut, they remove, they ignore anything that the previous administration has done. They will get rid of, or they will just not do it, or cease it immediately. And so we're seeing this happen on many fronts. One is this USAID and the food that they're throwing out. Another, in my opinion, is the horrific flooding that was going on in Texas, that is still going on in Texas, where they don't have the response. They don't have the team in place. There are cuts that were made through emergency services. Then let's just forget about the fact that the government there, the local government, the state government, hates, regulations and hates democratic president aid to the states that could have been helpful in a warning system. This is the fact that, FEMA wasn't even ready or up to the job for this. And this is all because the previous Democrat administrations, the new one comes in, they don't believe in anything, any of the government programs, everything should be banned. And so therefore, the people end up suffering because their policy is not to actually govern, it's to get rid of all the other things and maybe govern on a shoestring. Well, that doesn't work, and particularly in a transition. But this is not new to the Trump administration. You could argue back to 9/11, when Bush took office 8 months before 9/11 happened, he scrapped a lot of security warnings that Clinton did, because it was a Clinton thing. And they ignored a lot of the, things and intelligence briefings that were going on for, Bin Laden and 9/11 disaster. They threw that out the window, and then look what happened. Absolute travesty. So this is consistent with when Republicans take over. They see what the previous administration is doing. They scrap everything, and they want to start anew because, my God, Democrats are so bad. We can't even listen to anything that they have built up or done or warned us about, and we have to go our own way just to show them. And look what's happening. The people are suffering. That's what's happening. The end result is that the people suffer. It is inhumane, and this is consistent with what their party does.
disaster, an ongoing disaster, and I'm seeing it here in West Africa firsthand, the problems that it's causing, and it certainly is not making our reputation. I mean, it's damaging our reputation, and at the end of the day, the idea of signing a contract in the United States is completely pointless. Because it doesn't mean anything. Treaties mean nothing for the United States. I think the rest of the world does, but the rest of the world understands that you can't trust the United States anymore. That they lie and they cheat. They for at least for the time that we have Donald Trump, it's the land of cheaters and liars, and that's the way it's perceived. Anyway, speaking of coming from the land of cheaters and liars, I want to say hello to Lady O'Deal, who doesn't come up here very often, but is one of our regulars. So, Lady O'Deal, what brings you up to the stage? How was that for an opening?
The land of cheaters. Wow. Well, I am in the land of the how to put it, the traffic. I'm right now just putting along here in the epitome of the
nobody does traffic better than Los Angeles.
Nobody does that better. So that goes above the cheaters. So, but I was curious. I had a question because there was an article that caught my eye the other day of Elizabeth Warren talking about if tariffs are a cover for price gouging. And I wanted to ask if there's been any discussion.
Everybody's left you, Princess. You're the only one left. Everybody came to get the dopamine off.
It was, I believe it was on
chatter like a bunch of birds in a tree.
But she wants the FTC to do a little check and see, what's going on exactly, and is that a possibility? And I thought,
I hadn't heard that. And I'm a huge fan of Elizabeth Warren. She's my hero. And I get where she's going with it because, basically what they do is they add the tariffs and then people get used to paying 20% more. And then they get rid of the tariffs and then they don't get rid of the price increase. They never get rid of the price increase. So it does. There's a logic to what she's saying. I'm sure they're doing that.
Yeah, so I just thought that was very curious, and if,
No, of course, but it should also be something that, in a normal world, both parties would want to look at. I mean, you would think logically that if the Trump administration actually wants prices to go down and people are cheating the system with the tariffs, one would think that they want to be on top of this as well. I think both parties would want to be. But because of political climate, because Elizabeth Warren suggested it, it's probably not going to happen. But this is in her bag, though. She is about consumer protected. And I am sure, just like during COVID, a lot of companies raised their prices, and we never saw them go back down, did we? All those distribution chains, all the, the boats, all those ships held up at the port, all this other shit. Do we actually see the prices go down? No, because I go out every day. I'm like going to my diner. I'm going to, this or that. The prices that shot up somewhere between 2020 and 2022 are, guess what, the same price and higher. So I think it's all a freaking scam. So I do want to point to one thing that Peter Navarro, who is he the trade secretary or something for Trump?
Supposedly.
Yeah, he said, he announced on news, I guess it was on Bloomberg or Fox, I don't know. He said, as of July 1st, our country has brought in $106 billion in tariff revenue, and we're just getting started. And Chris Hayes posted a explanation. Chris Hayes said, put another way, we've raised taxes $106 billion on Americans. Because that's what it is. When a tariff hits, the price is passed on to the consumer. So yes, and they're continuing to do that. What I'm excited for, and my hope is that if Democrats get back in charge again, they can now promise, or or at least use as a campaign thing, hey, we're going to get rid of most of these tariffs, and guess what? Watch the prices go down by X amount, and we're going to keep the companies honest about that. So if we lower the tariffs and the prices are coming down, we're going after the companies that don't do it. I think it would be a good thing to actually run out like, hey, we're going to make shit 20% cheaper. Even if it's a fucking lie, look at where we are. We're in this, atmosphere where people are lying all the time and making shit up and hyperbole and all that. Why not say, hey, we're going to get rid of the tariffs and things are going to be cheaper since this guy fucked up. Oh, by the way, we're going to go back to Obama and Clinton era tax rates for the wealthy. And yeah, we're going to be able to expand Medicaid for people so that they can get health care again and all of that stuff. And these are things that actually people can latch onto and be like, oh, this party is going to be doing this. Okay, that's a vision I can get with. Instead of being like, hey, Trump is bad, Trump is bad, Trump is bad. Yeah, we get it, Trump is bad. What's the vision? You want to get on our train? Because we're going over here with this vision. And that's what I hope the Democrats do. And I think the tariff can be a big part of it.
No, that's an excellent point, Scotty. And I 100% agree.
Yeah. No, that does work. All right, we are into closing comments, pearls of wisdom. We got the last 30 minutes. Thank you, Lady O'Deal. Good to see you up here.
Good to see you.
Great to see you, Lady O'Deal.
Yeah. Someday I'll get back to Los Angeles. So, because I miss the traffic. No, not really. All right, let's go to David. David Jacobson has been sitting up there in the corner for a while. Awfully quiet.
Yeah, well, don't put baby in the corner. No,
Nobody does that.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me to see further headlines come out about how Texas is shooting itself in the foot by rejecting, aid from Democrats to put in warning signals and infrastructure that would have saved lives, and just to see the political winds just blow right over. Nothing to see here. Let's just, focus on the sadness. It's just a hall pass for them to keep being bad at government and being partisans. And I just hate the fact that the partisanship is the cause of all these innocent people for not having any protection from what we have civilization that can think through these things and apply science and technology, but it just seems so wasteful. Then it's extended with this food waste, like literally incinerating food that could have fed hungry people. But the cruelty is taking the headlines. The separating families. Maybe it's not even taking the headlines, but it's certainly stealing the emotional momentum. It's just tough. It's hard to see because it's just not really even covered down here.
Yeah.
In a way that people would open their eyes. I'll change my PTR. I found an image. I'll put a link to it. It's a pretty interesting document from J.P. Morgan. 20 years of insights. This is kind of like what rich people read every year to see what the market's going to look like. And so it's essentially a log of history of what the private bank kind of individuals have been looking at and the way that they look at the world. I'll change my PTR because one of the last images is of a MAGA alchemist trying to fuck with government. And let me get that picture up there. You guys can maybe comment in the chat about how ridiculous that even J.P. Morgan is calling out MAGA for its cult-like behavior.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It is. Well, we just have to keep talking about it so we can do something about it. What else can we do? Thanks, David. All right, let's go to Dr. Francine and then Perusian. Dr. Francine, do you have a closing comment, pearls of wisdom. Do you want to talk about what tomorrow's Karma Club is about? Have you come up with a theme?
Yes, Sue, it's going to be a question Sue came up with last week.
Okay.
And it has to do with whether we are now teaching people critical thinking or just information retrieval, and what that means, what the difference is, and what that means for everyone. And I think that's fascinating, because if everyone is, quote, cheating, unquote, with artificial intelligence, is anyone going to learn anything but how to retrieve information? And, I don't know. Because who's going to come up with new ideas if that's all we know? Anyway, it is at 11:30 tomorrow. God, we're at Wednesday. Tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific time.
And 2:30 East Coast time, yes.
Yes, that is right.
See, I did the math.
You're so good at that. That comes from living all over the world.
It comes from my years way back when they used to have slide rules.
David Jacobson is saying, who said we need new ideas? Well, I can suggest a couple
We just
of
need
places.
better ideas. They probably already exist. Come on.
Okay.
They've existed for 100,000 years.
Okay.
We've got some good ideas floating around, but it's that we're taking not good ideas and implementing them is the problem. The second half of my comment is the bad ideas are trumping the good ideas right now. We don't need new, possibly bad ideas. Why don't we just step through the good ones and raise them above the bad ones?
Okay, well, does that come from artificial intelligence, or does that come
We can
from...
sift without a computer. We can sort those, I think.
Okay. All right. We're good then.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Dr. Francine. Let's go to Perusian. Perusian, do you have a closing comment, pearls of wisdom?
Hello, my dear friends, everybody on the stage, or of course, everybody in the audience. My dear Ben, it's for you in the morning. For us, the sun is going down on you. It's raining. I'm sitting in my wonderful garden and enjoying the conversation here. For closing comments, I want to share with you that we are very nervous in Europe about Jeremy Powell's situation now in the United States. I think the stock markets in Europe are a little bit nervous about the situation. We are getting used to tariff situations, economical differences, support of Ukraine, and or let's say at the beginning not that much supporting, and finding out that Mr. Putin is maybe not the one who or somebody you can deal with maybe the way that Mr. Trump has thought at the beginning. But let's close this room together today with optimistical vibes and hope for the best. We have still maybe 1 month to find out how we can manage the tariff situation between European Union and United States, and of course the Iran situation is we have till I think I've heard about till the end of August. Maybe European Union, the E3 countries would start the snapback mechanism of this nuclear treaty at that time under Obama, JCPOA. So we are going through our holiday times. It's summer. A lot of people are in the holiday right now with their families. And the politics is also going now through the times of the holiday, summer holiday. So, but we know that in 1 month from now, we have to deal with two very important situations. One is the tariff situation with the United States, very important for the European Union country, and the other one, the situation in the Middle East. Let's hope for the best. And I was just wanted to be polite and come to the stage and say hello.
No, it's great. I always love getting your updates, and that was good, and also keeps us our feet on the ground, because when you're sitting outside of the United States, you just see things differently, and we really appreciate it, and appreciate your half glass full attitude. We should. We can easily get bogged down into negative stuff, but it's good to remember that there is another side to it. So thanks, person. Anyway, I wanted to get, as we're closing down, I want to get Dr. Keisha. I know that she has something that she wants to talk about. You have some TikTok or something today? Go ahead, Dr. Keisha. Tell us what's up.
First, I want to say hi.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's so good to see you.
I know. I've been busy, y'all. I'm actually doing locums now. So I'll go to Brownsville for the most part, which is a border town.
Yeah.
And do a week on, a week off, that type of thing. So that's been busy. But the podcast is growing.
That's great.
And the conversations have been rich. We just did one on vaccine hesitancy. It just released on Monday with Dr. Tusa. Y'all, oh my goodness, the things that I learn every time I talk to her.
Now, where did the podcast distribute?
Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. It's out everywhere.
And what's the title, like, if we needed to look it up?
So the most recent one is Every Child Deserves Access to Vaccines. So my producer, changed all the titles to make them not clickbaity, but more reachable. So I encourage you to look at the descriptions, because some of them, the titles really have nothing to do with the whole episode.
Well, but is it under your name if we go to TikTok and we look under Dr. Keisha?
Oh, you mean for the live? Okay, okay. So the podcast is the podcast. That's the professional edited thing.
Okay.
The lives that I do are separate. Those are discussions based off of the podcast. So tonight we're talking about vaccine hesitancy based on those that have listened to the podcast with questions. And it's actually growing over there too. It's my name, Dr. Keisha Davis is my profile name. And Steve Crone was over there on Monday, y'all. We broke down the RFK. So a positive.
I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah. A positivity note is, okay, a bad thing is measles has reached a record high since elimination status. We're no longer at elimination status. But the positive is that doctors are fighting back, and there was a huge lawsuit with multiple groups that is against RFK Jr. and what he did when he broke the recommendation for pregnant persons and children not to get the booster. So it is the beginning of something. We broke it down. I think it was great because they explained the lawsuit and what it means. And then we explained the organizations and groups and how he is kind of dismantling what we're practicing. But at the end of the day, doctors are going to do what doctors are going to do. We have our own pediatricians have their own recommendations, and they're going to follow those until the bitter end. If you can't get access to immunizations, many of the doctors were sharing ways that you can still get them if your insurances are going to cover it. So don't fret yet.
Can I also...
but tonight at 8 p.m. Central.
Let me also...
Ooh, tonight 8 p.m. Got it. It's Central Time. Okay.
Let me also
go
mention, because I got to take off in a sec. Dr. Keisha, thank you for messaging me. What a fabulous TikTok. I haven't been on TikTok since last year, so I didn't know how it all worked.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I was there, and there's so many bells and whistles, and I feel like a boomer when I'm on there because I couldn't understand how to comment or say hi or anything. I did, and I think maybe I hit a heart, but it wanted me to pay something. I don't understand.
No,
but
listen, Steve was saying the same thing. I was like, Steve, I understand it was overload. He's like, I don't understand what's happening.
It's overload. However, it doesn't matter because I got the content. I was able to listen to you and Dr. Achusa and Steve, and I think there was another doctor who I didn't know. But regardless, the content was great. I actually loved it, and I hope to be able to, be a part of it again. there were a lot of people there listening in, and so much great information, that you guys always do. And it's just great to see like new people and new questions and have a granular understanding of what's going on, particularly with the lawsuit, but also like the directive of the vaccines and what doctors are doing. And when one of the doctors said, "Hey, I'm not taking any patients that don't get their kids vaccinated," things like that. This was all great to hear. So kudos to you. It was so great to see you in there with a bunch of other people giving out really great info to us.
Yeah, I
in
wanna
this
post
video,
on that.
y'all, you can see the video. Like I literally show my face. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to say I was there too. I have some weird username that I have no idea. I must have just made it when I went on TikTok the first time, but I kept putting in comments saying, "Hi, it's Elle." It was great. You did a great job. I was really, really pleased with it. Stop with the boomer comments.
It's okay, we can take it. Anyway, that's great, Dr. Keisha. We will all be there. That's wonderful. And anytime you need a plug, come on in and tell us, because we're looking for high quality content. Anyway, I wanted to go to Sora's off mic. Sora, did you want to give us a closing comment, pearls of wisdom? Hello, Sora. Maybe she doesn't know she's off mic.
Leaving you with an existential question.
Sure.
Will MAGA make Democrats great again?
It may be a side effect if we ever get past this thing that we're going through. It's a good question. Anyway, Barbara's here. Hey, Barbara.
The answer is yes, as long as we don't eat our own.
Yeah, that's true, which is really important. Barbara, closing comment, pearls of wisdom. Hello, Barbara. Barbara out in Canada. Hello, Barbara. Oh, she might be busy. All right. Well, then we're almost ready to go. I think I got everybody here. Victoria, did you have any closing comment, pearls of wisdom?
Yeah, I mentioned it actually in Dr. James's room earlier today, but I always sort of defer to Hanlon's razor, never attribute to malice what is adequately explained by stupidity, but also don't hire stupid people to the White House, please, because I think we're seeing the symphony of disruption, not just from malice, but just sheer incompetence and not understanding the fundamentals or basics. They didn't hire experts. They focused too much on hiring loyalists, and that definitely undermined the performance of different government organizations, decision-making effectiveness, and obviously, it goes without saying, for this group, has led to unchecked and unbalanced misconduct. The fact that our president has a meme coin, the emoluments clause is basically completely been eradicated, and we're just seeing in sheer misconduct, ethical violations, but a lot of it does rest in incompetence, and I think that shouldn't be understated. So the next time people want to hire people that have no government role or background, just remember that we're wasting and abusing taxpayer dollars to enrich the wealthy men in America, and we're also taking food away from starving populations, not only around the world, but if you look at some of the domestic cuts. So I hope that people pay more attention to the incompetence that is going on, and I really can't understate how disgusting it has been to watch.
That's a great share, Victoria. I just recently read the statistic that when we cut off this Live Aid, that program was actually costing Americans on average $24 a year. Who here doesn't have freaking $24 to help save lives of children in other countries, for God's sake? So yeah, that number is, I'm never going to forget that number when I
saw that, it really, it's amazing how it's like just a piece of data can really crystallize the whole situation. I was just amazed. Okay, who says 52? Okay. Anyway, it's really important. Anyway, thanks for the share, Victoria.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. Appreciate it. All right, I think unless somebody else wants to do a closing comment, Andrew, go ahead.
Yes, Peter Navarro is Yahoo Finance. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That was the answer, Peter Navarro.
I have one closing, which is I just want to say how excited I am personally, because tonight is the 5th official Clubhouse Creative Writing Workshop starts. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm going to be hanging out tonight with Odile and with Andrew and with Michael Barefoot, who's in the audience, my new friend, who ends up living in St. Paul, which is so cool, and one other person who you guys don't know. So this was an experiment, and we are now going into year 2+ and the 5th group on Clubhouse. So I'm very excited for that tonight. So I won't be there tonight, Dr. Keisha, but we'll be making our own magic.
Congratulations with that, El. And put any links in the chat so that we know where to go.
I will. We'll be opening registrations for September. I've made a decision to go ahead and open a group for September, so I will share that information another day.
Okay, great. All right, I think we hit it. We'll close up a little early. So, Rick, you are the caboose. So, tell us what's some inspiration for the rest of the day. Rick, Mr. Oxnard. There you go.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't. Just got back from our walk. So, I don't really have anything other than, with all this aid being cut, both internationally and here, little organizations need our help desperately. And they need money, they need people, they need resources. And, find one in your area and help them out. Because a lot of them, there's going to be a lot of them going away. They just don't have money. Even, it could be a little cultural museum in your town that's, the size of a house. Because a lot of that stuff gets funded by government grants. They get part of their funding. And most of them are hanging on by, by a thread anyway. And so that's part of our job. Part of our job is to not let these things disappear, because they really are trying to make history disappear. A lot of the indigenous museums, the Mexican art museums, Latino art museums, the black museums all around the country that are small little private organizations are hanging on by a shoestring. And they need our help. And if we want them to survive until the next term, we have to step it up now. And so find something in your area that you're passionate about, or even across the country if there's nothing that you find in your area that you're passionate about. And, send them $5 a month, send them $10 a month if you can. And I know that everybody's asking you, all the politicians are asking you for money. Well, send $5 to the museum or to the organization, and then write to your congressperson and say, get this stuff refunded and maybe you'll get some more of my money. But for right now, I'm trying to save some organizations that you guys are killing. So that's what we can do. It's a little something you can do, and you can do it right now. You can as soon as this room closes, you can go on your computer, you can look something up, and or you can write it down. So I need to look up an organization in my community that needs help. It's something you can do today to change the world for the better. And that's it.
That was great. Thanks, Rick. Good point. I know I'm going to be sending some money to the local NPR station, and I think it's a great idea. Museums, well, they all need help to keep the lights on until we can fix this thing, because they are under attack. Anyway, I want to thank everybody, all my wonderful people here up on the stage, and the mods, and the people down in the audience. We're going to be playing a song here in a second, so if you want to go up and down the chat room and pick up those links and copy them down, this is your chance. Or if you want to do a little after talk, go ahead and participate there. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same station, and have a great rest of Wednesday.
As I walk through this wicked world, baby, searching for light in the darkness of insanity. I ask myself, I said, is all for blood? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? Oh, each time I feel this weight inside, there's one thing I wanna know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? As I walk through troubled times, and I feel it gets so damn hard each time I feel this way inside, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? What's so funny about peace, love, and
From the worldwide headquarters of the deep state here in beautiful Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, we bid you adieu.
each time I feel something away, it just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny
Bye-bye.
Don't shut the fuck on shut up.
Alright, deploy Soviet. Here's the